The content provided by Full Throttle Forex and or subsidiaries of Full Throttle Forex is for informational purposes only. Full Throttle Forex and any or all of its members are not qualified or licensed to provide trading, financial, investing recommendations, suggestions, or advice. In no way are the speakers or guest speakers performing in an advisory capacity. You must conduct your own research and analysis. You guys know what this is about. This is about us teaching you how to do exactly that. This allows you to be completely responsible for your own actions and your own decisions on whether you should trade in the Forex marketplace at all, either with software trading or manual trading strategies. Your attendance on any Zoom, call, or social media live event is your acknowledgement that you agree to the above statement and that you agree to hold harmless Full Throttle Forex and its subsidiary speakers and anyone who appears on these calls. All right, and Shazizzle, go for it, bro.
All right, so the first thing is that's really important for everybody to understand is that there is no such thing as a definitive set of rings in the world of Forex, but there is a definitive definition for what constitutes a trading ring. And a trading ring, by definition, is 3 separate currencies that when you trade them simultaneously make up a trading ring, because each pair links to the next currency pair, thus forming a complete circle, if you will. So the first thing you do to identify a ring is you start by identifying the individual currencies themselves without the pairs that you want to trade. And then based on those 3 individual currencies, then you can simply construct the ring. And so let's have some fun with this, Alan. I want to ask somebody in the chat to throw out 3 currencies. Now, these may not be rings that we would necessarily trade or not trade. I'm not making like a definitive recommendation in any way, shape, or form. But somebody throw out 3 currencies. All right, so Scott Quinney throws out the yen. That's cool. Does anybody else know a currency?
Wait a minute, guys, don't make me look bad. I just said what a trade ringer was, right? At least let's know what a currency is.
All right, so we've got the yen, the CAD, and the franc. Perfect. We'll use those 3 just for the fun here. The first 3 that came up were the yen, the CAD, and the franc, the CHF, the Swiss franc. So we'll start there, and then I see we've got euro in here. Myra threw out 3 entire currencies, so we'll circle back. So let's start with these. Actually, let's do this. We'll have even more fun with this, Alan, because I hate to have fun. So
yeah,
go ahead and let's keep that list going, right? So we'll pick and choose from the ultimate list, and we can show people how you can use any of these selection of currencies to make a ring. So let's throw the US dollar in there. Myra included the US dollar. Very good, Myra. I wouldn't personally want to be building a ring without the old USD. Teddy Munger, who's sitting right next to me, threw out the GBP. Let's see. Does anybody want to say hi all the way from Minnesota to Mr. Teddy Munger?
Ted Munger!
Teddy Munger in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Your next American voice, Teddy Munger. All the way
I
from
put
Minnesota.
your favorite pair in there, the Mexican peso.
Thank you. It's not a pair by itself, but sure, I'll take it as one of my favorite currencies.
No, I mean, paired with anything, it's your favorite pair. No, I'm kidding with that.
It's been a while since I've made a Tijuana run, Alan, so maybe we need to do some foreign currency exchange, and since we'll be in SoCal this weekend anyway, maybe it's
hey, I might find a new way to make a living if we go down to Tijuana. Probably not a good one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now Simon's getting cute with us. The Iranian shekel, the Iranian rial, and the Mongolian
favorite one, the Vietnamese dong.
Right. I'm surprised that I'll tell you a funny story. This will have nothing to do with Trade Ringer, and it has very little to do with foreign currency exchange as we know it. However, This has happened on more than one occasion, and Alan was privy to one of these conversations, as was I in the last few months. And Sal, if you're still on, you're going to get a chuckle out of this. So speaking of, these random currencies, right? Like the dong and the togrog and the shekel. And so we had a prospect that someone was intending to introduce to, kind of the economy platform and the idea of artificial intelligence and applying AI into the realm of Forex. And this guy said, "Man, no, I'm good. No, thank you. I'm all set in the area of foreign currency exchange. I have a safe full of dinar."
Yeah, that happened. That.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're not going to include the dinar here either. All right, so enough with the shenanigery. So let's grab. Let's start with the Japanese yen and the I don't know. Yeah. You can pull them aside for a minute if you want to. That's fun. Just grab 3 of them. Any 3. Pick 3.
All right.
That you'd like. Pick 3, and then we'll show how that makes a ring. And then we can do a few of these. It's fun for people to just kind of learn this stuff. All right. And I got the US dollar. And we got the Aussie dollar. Perfect. Okay, great. So here's what a ring would look like with these 3 individual currencies. We'll start with the yen since it's on top, and the first pair that you would have would be the JPY, USD JPY, right? We'll do it in the proper way that you'd find it in your, there you go, perfect. So your first pair would be the USD JPY. The next pair we would have would be your AUD USD, okay? So you have your Aussie dollar to your US dollar. And now to complete the ring, can anybody guess what's missing? What do we need? Which individual currency do we need to fill in here to complete the ring? There's one more currency we need to add to that AUD. You got a hint because the AUD was still sitting there. Does anybody know what it is? Let's see, I want to look at the chat. I'm such a dork, but this is so fun. There you go. Myra, winner, chicken dinner. Myra says the JPY, and Myra is correct. And so you have the AUD to the JPY.
Okay, now, what was painfully obvious to me, and obviously to Miss Myra, may not be to everybody else, but you guys, so look, I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to pull out a circle. And give me 2 seconds here to format this thing so that we have no fill and we only have a line border. And the line borders.
There you go.
All right. So look, you've got the JPY once. You've got the JPY twice. And that's all I need to identify. You've got the USD once, the USD twice. You have the AUD once, the AUD twice. Ringer.
Perfect. Now understand something, right? The reason we said that you first start with 3 individual currencies because that is literally by definition the only way to build a ring. So Myra got it correct, but if we take that bottom JPY out of the circle for a minute, just so everybody's clear, there is no other alternative to correctly construct a ring in this scenario. And we asked for, what do you guys think the last currency is? You could not have put for it correct, Alan. That's exactly right. That is not a ring. The only other currency that could complete that ring would be the JPY, which is why Myra got it correct. So you cannot build an actual currency ring by going, how about the USD JPY, the AUD CHF, and the NZD CAD? While you do have 3 currency pairs there in that hypothetical, that would not constitute a trading ring because now you just used like 6 currencies instead of just the 3 currencies. And so that probably beats the dead horse, I think, Alan, but hopefully everybody understands. Awesome, hopefully everybody understands that there's not a predefined by the Forex gods a specific list of trading rings. You literally can choose whatever 3 currencies that you would like, and when you properly assemble those 3 currencies into their relative currency pairs, now you have built a trading ring.
All right, so I want to add a little bit to this, all right, to go just a little deeper into the whole, as you know, we can sometimes do. All right, I am going to create a brace here, and I am going to make it mega large. Hang on one second.
Whoa.
Yep,
Can you make my trading account mega large while you're at it?
just give me a little time. All right, so here we go. All right, so that's a ring, right? We know this because of what we just learned. And you guys know we like to go just a little bit further. Okay, so if you've been around since the beginning of time, all right, you'll know this phrase right here. And if we were not so blown up today with meetings at the factory and entertaining Ted Munger, no, I'm kidding, Ted. All right, taking him to lunch and all, there's this thing called average daily range, right? Now, can anybody in the chat tell me what average daily range actually means? Come on, somebody take some guesses. I'm pulling up the chattage. Average amount of pips per day. Simon, you're not allowed to play.
Right? That's like cheating.
Yeah, right. Did you just Google that? Did you ask Siri? Right, so that is correct. He is absolutely correct. It is the average amount of pips, which could be anything really. And you guys heard me say this a dozen times. A pip could be an inch, a centimeter, a yard, a foot, a mile. It's a unit of measurement in which the market moves. Now they chose the word pips, stands for percentage in profit, and that's what it is. Okay, so now, if you were to look at one of the original rings, all right, that we began trading with, we'd be looking at the Euro ring, which was Euro USD, USD JPY, and Euro JPY, right? And you could look at the average daily range of each of those and come up with a number, okay? And let's just say that number on the average for all three pairs was 70, okay? So 70 was the ADR. This is us going just a little deeper just so you have an understanding that not just because you would combine three pairs in such a way that each of the currencies would appear twice is not necessarily a good idea. So we're not going to use the South African Rand, okay, and pairs like that because their average daily range is mental, all right?
And their spread. Why don't you type that in there underneath average daily range?
Yeah, spread.
But that's another huge factor. As you talk about some of these exotic currencies, the spread would make it nearly impossible for an EA to actually make you.
Spread will make you dead. All right, that is absolutely the truth. Okay, so what does this mean? This average daily range? Well, it was already in there. Simon said it. Okay, if one of the original rings, the Euro ring, was an average daily range of 70, that means that the guys who wrote this software did multitudes of back testing to come up to find that the best place for these pairs, these rings to be, is in an average daily range of about 70. So if you were going to go off on your own and try and create a new pair, as in the CHF, JPY, JPY, USD, whatever it is, I can never remember the three of them, we would want to make sure that it was somewhere near there, because if it wasn't, say it was something like this, all right, say 130, that's not going to work very well. It's too volatile of a setup for it to work accurately. So if you want to experiment on a demo account, remember guys, demo accounts are the best way to do this, and right now is the best time to do it, because right now we have multiple licenses that are available to us, and it won't be for much longer. Okay, you might have just the rest of the week where you could start a demo account and not have to validate your license in the back office by design. I'm not saying anything that the company hasn't said itself. so that you could test a couple of theories out. But the reality of it is you could go out and make your own ring as long as you followed the guidelines that are listed here. But to take it another step further, if you're going to get kooky and not look at the average daily range or the spread, it isn't going to work anyways, right? So we have, and I say all that to say this: we've already done a lot of that heavy lifting for you, as has the company, and there are multiple rings that we can trade. Which, Ryan, at this point, as was the intention of the exercise, and we got, like we do, we got a little bit deep, but this is, I'm going to get rid of these, get rid of some of this stuff. All right. This is one of the rings right here. All right. Now, for me, I would be calling this the Aussie ring, simply because the Aussie's in the leading position. The Aussie's the home team twice here. You could call it whatever you wanted. You could call it the USD-JPY Aussie ring. That would be probably more accurate, but I'm trying to shorten things, right? And as we know, you can set this up as a set inside your MT4, so that if you want to switch to this ring at any time, all you have to do is right-click in the Market Watch window, choose Sets, and load that bad boy. Now, we could take the Euro, right? Let me copy this USD, paste it, and we could have the Euro USD. Now I'm going to call this the Euro pair. Okay, and then what? Can anybody give me the balance of this? Euro what? Because we've all used it before. Looking in the text. If Simon types faster, he's not typing now. It's the Euro JPY, probably because I told him he couldn't play. And can anybody finish this out? Nobody? What the?
I'm not seeing any comments. Oh, Myra
Euro
wins
JPY.
again. Myra wins again.
Myra,
somebody's been paying attention.
Let me tell you something, you guys.
That
woman wants to win. See, she's listening, she's reading, but that is exactly right. The Euro JPY. The clue was I was going to call this the Euro ring, right? So what was my deal? I'm calling this the Aussie ring. I'm calling this the Euro ring. Same reason. Euro's leading. So there's another ring. All right. Now, are there other rings? Yes. All right. We know this ring all too freaking well. But again, this ring was put together with a 62, which I think was 1 point off or 1 pip off of the daily range.
Right.
CHF JPY. So, I mean, it was a great choice, CHF JPY. And I know there's a lot of you on here that may feel like it might have not been such a good choice simply because Jim Widman, no. Oh, yeah. When a pair breaks a trend in a 5-year trend, who knew, right? I mean, it's just the way that it is. Okay. So what else do we have in here? Don't we have the USD JPY in here? So we'll drag that down. And then the JPY again. And then isn't the CHF in here again?
Yep, USD CHF.
So you could really call this a USD ring. I call it the CHF ring just because it is the anomaly pair. So now my whole system is broken, isn't it? So there's a ring.
Text.
There's a ring.
I call it the choking ring.
You guys, I hope you guys appreciate how much we appreciate each and every one of you, and that we're all in this journey together, and that for any of you that are out there that experienced a bad experience with this ring, so did I. Okay, so did I. But you guys have heard me explain this a dozen times. I don't consider that as lost money. All right, the ring of despair. That's so funny. I don't consider it lost money because I'm not quitting. All right. Like I've said before, I've spent $7,500 for a 3-day seminar. webinar. And unfortunately, at my age, if I tried to go back and remember from 2004, I probably haven't retained any of the 7,500 bucks, right? So the reality of it is, guys, there's going to be many more times in our lives where we'll participate in something where the outcome isn't exactly as we had it planned. But if you don't fail forward, then you're going nowhere. You're never going to move the needle on your life, on your business, and on the lives of others. Just know that, all right? So we're just doing, we're learning, we're on that, we're so blessed to have someone like Ryan in our group. And I'm going to turn his cheeks rosy red right now. The guy's a mathematician. He's a deep study. He goes in and he finds out stuff, and he explains it to me, thank goodness, right? Because the man is a Rain Man when it comes to this stuff. And I know that he has a lot to learn, and I know he'll learn a lot more. I am super grateful for the fact that he discovered that while we were learning this tool, and that we're able to bring to you guys daily content that hopefully helps you learn. Listen, anybody trading Forex that you can get in touch with on any platform will tell you it's a 3 to 5 year learning experience. Now, because we have a great piece of software called TradeRinger, that doesn't mean that it doesn't come without you having to pay attention, without you having to learn what the settings and how these settings affect your trading. Okay, this is not the Staples Easy button, and it has never been presented in that way. So these are 3 rings. We'll leave it at that.
Hey, Alan, let me piggyback on something you said, and thank you for your kind words, my brother. I love you, man. And you have a phenomenal way of articulating things. I've never been called a nerd so eloquently. But I'll wear it. Nice, I'll wear it proudly. But listen, you're bringing up a really, really killer point right now, guys. Look, the idea of having a tool does not exempt anyone from the concept of the book Outliers, okay?
100%.
You could be a guy who's built 7,000 pools, and you dug every pool with literally a manual shovel, and then you had your business grow enough where you could afford a backhoe or a bobcat. Guess what? You are 100% not efficient at all to apply the skill set you certainly do have from constructing swimming pools when you first start using that bobcat or that backhoe. The repetitions are always going to be required and beneficial, okay? And so whether someone comes to this environment of expert advisor land, artificial intelligence land with 0 trading experience, or with maybe some level of previous trading experience, the bottom line is, as it is so eloquently put in the book Outliers, we need to log the repetitions, okay? There's no substitute for experience. And so I'm glad you brought that up, Alan, because I think that, that holds true for all of us. Doesn't matter what our previous experience level was or is at this point. We are going to continue to gain a better understanding and better ability to leverage these tools the more we are utilizing them.
100%, brother. And I love you too, man. And everything that you do for all of us. It's a pleasure to be your business partner. All right. So one last thing before we get going on and cutting the call. I did share something today at the factory that I think is relevant for everybody. So I'm going to be the chart master today, and I'm going to share with you something that hopefully I can find it again if I can pull up that chart. I have it all marked up, and this is not the chart. Oh yeah, maybe it is. Yes, it is. All right. So last night I was studying some trades on Compass, right? And guys, I told you guys this, and I'll say it again. Ryan and I have both qualified to be trained by the gentleman, Steve Greger, who is our director of training on this product. So I'm getting very excited to learn this so that we can impart that knowledge to you guys. You guys know this is TradingView. Hopefully you can see. Can you see it, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, so last
Yes.
night now I only have to touch a hot stove once. I do have to touch it. Okay, I'd like to get past that point in my life, but I do have to touch it once. Okay, you can tell me till you're blue in the face. Unfortunately, I'm going to touch the stove. Okay, but I touched it the other night, probably about a week and a half ago, and I think you guys know the story. But I placed a manual trade. I had my trade ringer turned off. I had one trade left. I was looking at trends and I was looking at charts, and I placed a manual trade. I was watching hockey. I was kind of dozing in and out, which is stupid. All right. But that's what I was doing. I woke up to my trade. It was $10.75 in profit. I was trying to eat a $70 drawdown in one trade from our, we'll call it Ring of Despair, as Myra called it, right? And I thought, you know what? I think it's going to run just a little bit more. Let me look at it in 5 minutes. Okay, this was probably around 11:45 p.m. And when I woke up in a sitting position at 4 a.m., kind of crumpled over on my couch, lo and behold, the trade reversed its direction and it was in a $22 drawdown. Never to go in the other direction again. And I eventually took it out at 70 bucks. Boo. Do not trade when you're tired. Do not trade when you're upset. Do not trade when you can't pay attention. And I'm not talking about manual trading. I'm talking about any trading, but absolutely not with manual trading. So last night at about 10:35, okay, there was an alert that came out on this chart. Hang on one second. Let me dump this and then the resulting this, and I gotta buy this thing too. Okay, so let's see. It was at 22:35 or 22:30 when the thing. Anyways, it was right around here is when the trade came out. Okay, so you guys see the dotted line going through the red candle. That's when the wedge was identified on this descending wedge, which you can see the pattern right here, right? You can see the descending, all right, from this point to the high point, descending, going down. And at 10:30, our product, Trade Compass, identified that and said, hey, there's a descending wedge opportunity on the Canadian dollar. And of course, you guys, the US Canadian dollar. And you guys understand that these are done on 15-minute charts. So here's what's cool about this. If you haven't realized this already, please realize this, that every 15 minutes on the hour, 15 after, on the 30, and 45 after, you get a new candle. So you can set the alarm on your phone to come back and look to see where that candle close was. Well, I did. And it closed right there. And that simply was not, plus how late it was, it simply wasn't enough time, enough of a breakout, in my opinion, the way that I drew my analysis of this wedge. Wasn't enough of a breakout for me to place a trade. I didn't, okay? And I'm fine with that. I don't want to look back, all right, and go, oh my gosh, I should have placed that trade. No, I need to be happy with the decision that I made, because right here, it was the right decision. Now, what ended up happening? All right, the next candle was outside of my wedge, which I could have then redrawn. And then I would have got not what I would consider to be a strong breakout. A strong breakout would be a candle like this or a candle like this. Okay, but it was a breakout nonetheless. And watch what happened. And this is going to be short, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Guys, the one thing that you must have in your mindset in trading is patience. Patience, patience, and more patience. Because here's what would have happened to most people. They might have placed this trade right there and go, oh, it is going to go up. That's a second green bull candle in a row. I'm going to place that trade. Ooh, it went up a little more. Next 15-minute span, it went down a little. Next 15-minute span, you're going, I hit a home run. I'm starting to gain there. But look what happened over the next hour. Boom, it's coming down. Well, I'm going to hang on. I think it's going to go up in the next trade, the next candle. Boom, it goes down below your entry point. You're like, I don't know, maybe one more candle. Boom, I'm out. It's going down. I'm out. Okay? Or maybe you waited here. Boom, I'm out. no patience. All right. You didn't have patience there. And this is just an example of what can happen. Next candle. Hello, rocket ship, rocket ship, rocket ship. Then the sellers tried to push it down. And then for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 periods, all right, which would be 15 minutes times 6, whatever that is, hour and a half, it continued to escalate. So let's see what that would have done for me, right? So right here, we look, oh boy, glasses. Sorry, old man moment. I know I only look 58 years old, but I'm actually older. Okay, so right here, if I would have placed that trade, I would have been at 130,573. Now here's what you can do. 130,573, right? Without the point, without the dot. If I go up to where I might have hung on to that trade, and I might have ridden it right to here. You never know.
Hey, Alan.
Yo.
So since you're doing this exercise, let's do this. Slide, if you can, slide your chart over to the right for me for a minute.
To the right?
Yeah. Yep. There you go. So the kind of the most basic way, and this is taught frequently in some of the economy content as it relates to Trade Compass. The kind of the go-to way to establish a take profit is you measure from the bottom of the wedge to the top of the wedge, and that's the distance that you can expect in profit. And so if you, yeah, perfect. So if you can kind of grab a point of reference, if you were following a lot of the content that's already been created that teaches, how to enter Trade Compass trades, that's what a lot of the subject matter people have taught, is that you take that point right there, yep, and then you measure to the top of your wedge, and that'll give you a reference to then take that pip count, and that's where you would place your take profit. And obviously in this trade it would have been like perfect, and yeah, you can tell. So if you're talking about where you might have gotten out, if you would utilize kind of the approach of, well, when I get into the trade, I'm going to have some kind of point of reference to place a take profit in it. That would have been kind of a good equation to use to place a take profit into that trade.
Yeah, and that's 127 points from the top to the bottom, right? And this is why everybody's trade would be different. Everybody charts a little differently. Like I'm actually through a candle body here. So in reality, if I did this more accurately, it would look like that. So it's actually a little bit more than that, but it's pretty darn close. It would be up to there. So I'd be at 136.33, 136.33 minus the bottom number, which is 134.97. 134.97 equals 136. Okay, divide that by 10 because that's points, and that's 13.6 pips. So I could have placed this trade, like Ryan said, right here and put a take profit, 13.6 pips or 136 points up here. And that would have been my take profit, and I would have been out. Now, the reality of it is, if I had patience, and there would be nothing wrong with that. You guys, if you can make multiple 13.6 pip wins, you don't need a job. Okay, now I'm not telling anybody to quit, okay, before somebody sends me a text message. All right? I'm not saying quit your job. I'm saying that's what would have happened if you would have had patience and rode this for a minute. You would have gained, because I measured this morning in showing Zane what was going on. I believe it was Zane. It might have been Teddy. Or maybe it was both. That would have been a 25.6 pip dinger to the good. Yay. This is why Trade Compass is so valuable to our group, to our company, because it can do a lot for you. All right, now I'm going to throw this in like I did this morning, and then I'm done talking, and we're probably done with this. If anybody, we have a few questions, 3. All right, if my trading account, and here's the reality. Here's what I can recommend for you. There is no licensing requirement for Trade Compass. You're never going to, well, I won't say never. As it stands, you currently do not have to put a license in because there is no software being installed, so there's no validation. Comes to you via your telephone, and you can place the trade. So In reality, you should have a separate account with separate dollars, and I can't recommend enough that you do at least probably 50 or 60 of these trades before you ever trade with real money, so that you understand how to do this, when to get in, when to get out, how to measure these things. And TradingView is just an awesome tool to do this. But the reality of it is, let's say that your overarching goal for your trading experience on the whole is to gain 2% per week as a combination of both accounts, right? And let's say that you took a small haircut of 3% in your trade ringer that week, all right? Because you decided to do what you should do, and that's get out of the market before 1 o'clock by Wednesday, all right? As has been exposed by the guys who've been using the software for 8 years. Some days are going to be up, some are going to be down. We know that. But if we don't carry trades over the weekend, we mitigate a ton of bad stuff. Then you could use this product to offset the 3, and maybe you could trade for 5. And guess what? While one account was down, the other account is up. So that's all I have to say. Those are strategies that if you'll put those down on paper and look what you're supposed to be doing and treat this the way that it should be treated, as you taking responsibility for moving the needle forward on your own financial future, well, then you're going to take those notes and take those time. Now that will, in fact, discount a lot of people out of this, because most people want success as long as it comes in the form of something falling out of the sky and landing in their lap. To be an entrepreneur takes a little chutzpah. You got to dig, you got to fail, you got to dig, you got to fail, you got to dig harder. And that's just the way it is until one day the switch gets flipped. So guys, that's all I have to say on this. I just wanted to give you a little bit of charting today because we normally do that. I'm going to get to the Q&A here, and I'm going to have to minimize El Screeno. All right, let me get out of there so that I can see the Q&A. Scott Quinney is asking, so this new trader is now hands-on daily? Scott, I'm just going to say yes, and I am going to say you heard what I just said. It is. It is going to be hands-on daily. You are going to have to approve the trade. The answer to that and being able to get out of doing that is to move to another country. Okay. Yeah. All right. So the next thing, my wife just had an operation yesterday, so now I can go to the LA event. Nice, Dawn. I'm not sure how those two things correlate, and I hope she's doing well, as does the whole community, but we're going to be excited to meet you there. Will there be, oh, you can't go. I'm sorry, I misread that. Will there be a video of the event? Well, so far we have done that every single time. There hasn't been any information, but I will seek to find out for you and let you know, and I will miss meeting you there, sir. But prayers to your wife and for a quick and full recovery. All right, and then we have one last question. Does it matter which currency goes before the other? The answer is absolutely yes. You don't have any control over that, so let's go back to El Screeno. All right, let me pull up one of my multitude of VPSs. And here we go. All right, so I'm going to say show all. And then I'm going to pull this window out, terrifying most of you because you wouldn't know how to get it back in there, even though. And I'm going to make it bigger so we can look. All right, so you guys, you don't have any control over how the pairs are. The Aussie USD will never be the USD Aussie. That is the pair. Okay, now what makes Forex kind of cool is that, you know, I look at these like two football teams, right? Aussie is the home team, USD is the visiting team. Simple as that. All right, so if you are making your play, placing your trade on the home team, that would be the Aussie, you are going to need to place a buy trade. Okay, you're always playing the first currency. If you are placing your trade on the USD in that pair, you are going to place a sell trade because you're suggesting that the visiting team is going to win. It's that simple. Same here. Euro AUD will never be AUD Euro. These are set in stone. So if you want it, if you are saying to yourself, and you see these little arrows next to this, these are telling you what direction it is currently traveling, is what that means. And it will change every minute. I mean, it's crazy how quickly this market moves. But the Euro AUD is always that. The Euro USD will never be the USD Euro. That's just not how it was set up. But you can catch both sides of this contract or currency pair in that if you were playing the Euro here, if you were saying, hey, this is what you're really saying. I think the European Union economy is going to outperform the United States economy. That's what you're saying. So I am going to place a buy trade as the European economy looks to be the economy that's going to be moving upward against the USD economy. Now, if you read a fantastic tweet by our president, or we see that something good is happening in the US dollar, looking at the Forex Factory News or investing.com or MyFX Book News or any of the others, NetDania News, any of that stuff that we've shared with you guys, and you believe that the US dollar is going to make a move against the European Union, well, on this particular pair, you would place a sell because you're saying the US dollar is going to crush the European Union. And so you're going to place a sell in that case. Hopefully that explains everything that you needed to know there. And so that is it, guys. We don't have any more questions. We have been on for a little bit over an hour. Like usual, these seem to last that long. We're here to serve you. You guys know that. I hope this has brought some value. God bless everybody for the rest of the day. Say goodbye, Ryan.
Goodbye, Ryan, and goodbye, everybody. Love you guys. God bless.